is home to a variety of locally produced current affairs programs and daily national newscasts, broadcast in 6 languages. To learn more about Omni Scholarships, visit omnitv.ca/scholarships.
This program is brought to you by OHL Action Pack. Looking to see tomorrow's stars today? Follow the teams and players you want to watch. OHL Action Pack is part of the Rogers Super Sports Pack.
Hello and welcome to HealthLink, a program connecting home, community, and healthcare. My name is Carol Merton, and I am delighted to welcome as a guest today Jackie Ralph. Jackie is the supervisor for Youth Awareness and Education, CMHA Grey Bruce, Mental Health and Addiction Services. Have I got that right, Jackie?
You got it perfect.
Thank you so much for being on the program. I am just delighted to have you here, as always. But I'm especially delighted because you're going to tell us about an exciting new adventure that CMHA has embarked on that I think is absolutely a wonderful community initiative. So, and that's about a cafe, a Fresh Roots Cafe. So fill us in about this new venture, where it is and how it came to be.
So this is truly a story, as Teresa will tell you, of the little engine that could. So this was an idea that we had for the longest time. There's so many great programs and people across Canada and the world and Ontario. And we've always been just a little bit jelly of the group in Kitchener called the Working Center. And the whole idea is it's a place where you can try new things and be yourself in a place of safety. So that's what the cafe was all about, that it would become a place for you to get back into the workforce, be part of the workforce. But basically, it's all about belonging, that you have something to contribute and something to offer in that place of safety. That's what the cafe was always intended to do. And at the same time, make good food that showcase the ingredients from the food forest. So there really is just so much good stuff to talk about the Fresh Roots Cafe, because it's just this place of warmth and love and happiness, and you get to eat Trevor Schwantz's butter tarts. Like I run out of fingers to count all the wins. So let's start with way back when we started the food forest. So we, oh gosh, how many years, Carol? You might know better than me that the city of Owen Sound granted us use of the tennis courts behind St. George's Church because they weren't being used for anything. And so we covered them in raised beds. And so the idea was that we'd already been doing what we call a brunch program, so a morning food program out of CMHA Grey Bruce for anybody to come. And this enabled us to use fresh fruits and vegetables in that. And then it just got bigger and bigger. We were able to take some of the herbs and dry them. And then we were able to create our own salsas. And from that food forest, our CMHA gardens grew the catering team. Well, we needed a bigger kitchen for that because the kitchen over at Union Place was, I think, smaller than this closet I'm in right now. And so they're like, well, we can't really do what we want to do with this small kitchen. So we kind of like, you know, sometimes happens. We kind of grew and we took over this empty space that was beside us downtown, and we started turning it into an industrial kitchen, a true restaurant kitchen. And with the hopes of one day creating the cafe in front of that. The kitchen itself has been used now for catering for quite a few years. So maybe you've been at the health fair and you enjoyed some soup and sandwich, and that came from the catering team. And again, the folks that always are part of that are individuals that have their own journey with mental health lived experience that need a safe place to be, to earn some extra dollars, to be with other people, to get that sense of pride in a job well done. So then fast forward now, where the cafe was the final piece. We just wanted to get there, and we finally did it in January. So as of, I think it was January 12th was our first day of opening. We had to close down a little bit again because we had, good old COVID. We had some out of an abundance of caution. We just wanted to make sure that everybody was safe, and then reopened again on the 31st. And it's just been fantastic to see all these folks come through the door and want to be part of it and want to support it. The food is so good. So today, you ready? I had Caesar salad with a Montreal smoked meat sandwich, and it was incredible. It was so yummy.
Wow.
Oh, did I mention it was served with ironwood coffee? That's just $1. That was also pretty darn awesome.
Wow.
So it's just been so great. We, as part of the cafe, there is also a pay it forward board. So kind of like yesterday was Random Act of Kindness Day. So kind of like the folks do in the Tim Hortons drive-through, they pay for the coffee behind them. This is the same thing. I can also purchase another sandwich and a coffee, put it up on the board, and the next time somebody comes in that maybe a little loose on the jingle in the jeans and just are hungry and could use a coffee and a sandwich, then that's available to them, which is just, did I mention it's so many wins? I can't even count them, Carol.
I think it's wonderful. So I also think I saw, maybe on Facebook page, not sure, that you were one of the very, very first customers when it opened, and I just thought that caption was just amazing. So I wanted to ask a little bit more about the funding that allowed this to happen. Mm-hmm. And so maybe we'll go question by question first, because I have a bunch of questions. Where did the funding come from that helped this become a reality?
So that too takes a little bit more fingers than I have on these two hands. So as always, one of our biggest champions, United Way. We can not say enough about United Way. Places like Hobart's that, donated some kitchen equipment. We have the Community Foundation has just been incredible. Way back when we were the recipient of $130,000 from Aviva. Like that played such a big part in it. We took total advantage of other foundations and grants that were available that we could apply for. Lots of different, it truly has been lots of little pots that all just came together. But yeah, we couldn't shout enough about United Way and their belief in this. And Francesca just walking alongside of us the whole time.
Excellent. So it's located right in downtown Owen Sound. And days of the week it's open and timing, Jackie?
It is. So it's 1028 2nd Avenue East, which is right in between kind of Metro and Channing's. And it's open 7 days a week from 7:30 in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is fantastic. You got it. Yeah,
7 days a week. That's remarkable. Mm-hmm. So so anyone from the community can come in and get some food to eat. Do you have people eating there, or is it still to go? Like, how are you doing that?
So when you come in, you're going to see that that's the next step. That's the next growth part, is when we can get back to just sitting around and eating together. The tables are all there. The chairs are all there. But at this moment, it is just takeout. Because we're just getting our feet wet, right? So we want to be able to do little stages and little steps. And so takeout first, and then we're ready to go. We've got all the pieces to let us have sit down times.
So I want to chat a little bit about the chef that you have, and how that came to be, and also who works there. How do you select the individuals who work there to get the experience and also to be able to show their talent as well?
So Teresa, again, has so many different partnerships in the community that the folks come from all sorts of different backgrounds. Trevor has been with us for quite a few years. Again, we totally roped him in because everybody knows Trevor, right? From Stone Tree, and they had their restaurant up on the west side of town. And we were just the timing was good. We were able to snag him. And so he's been helping us with our catering and the brunch program for quite a while. So he's the chef in the kitchen. So he's the one that's working alongside all the other folks that are back there with him. And then Maureen, who some people will know from out and about in the community as well, because she's been in the restaurant industry for the longest time. She's front of house. So she is looking after the menu and the pricing and training all the staff, which is great. What was really amazing to see is, so the Sun-Times came and did an article, what was that, week and a half ago? And ever since that article came out, Teresa and the gang are receiving calls and people just dropping in going, can I work here? Because I'm looking for that safety and security and a fresh start and some place to fit in. And Teresa's like, yes, that's exactly what it was created for. So that's also been so fantastic.
So certainly the need for that safe space, that a supportive environment is definitely there. Mm-hmm. So people who don't have a lot of skills in the kitchen, so how does that work? Are they're taught there? Are they, yeah?
Yepper. So everybody who comes through and works at the cafe still takes safe food handling, does all those trainings that are necessary. So you're not going to find that you're in the kitchen actually cooking the first day, because you still have to go through all the processes that anyone else would. And what's been really neat is the last few years with the catering team that's been, going gangbusters, is to see folks graduate from that to the culinary program at the college, which is just incredible. Like it's really the best thing.
That's remarkable and wonderful. So it's sort of a stepping stone for other opportunities that someone may not have perhaps taken that step otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the description of the food forest and the program, because the way it's set up, I see some similarities actually. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to read what was documented. And it says, the gardens are a place for the community to gather, garden, learn, share skills and stories in a safe and socially supportive environment. By growing and harvesting healthy food, the community helps protect and restore the local ecosystems and improves access to fresh local food and a center for wellness and learning. Mm-hmm. Well, wouldn't that apply to your cafe?
So that's why the Fresh Roots name is part and parcel with all of that, to show that you can't have one without the other, and that they all contribute to each other. So like when I come to the cafe and I get my zucchini bran muffin, know that zucchini was grown in the gardens. Wow. And then folks behind the scene work to tend the beds and water and weed and put compost on. And then someone else in the kitchen grated the zucchini and froze it for the winter, and out it came. And then someone else baked the muffins later on. It really, again, has just been, I can't give Teresa enough credit for it. It really was this little spark of an idea, and we just step by step. So again, starting with those gardens on the original tennis court bed, and then expanding and to create that food forest area around it. So a few years ago, we got connected to Thomas Dean, who is a horticultural therapist who mixes mental well-being with nature and food and gardens, and just putting your hands in dirt, and how helpful and cathartic and just energizing that is. as the area grew there behind the church, behind St. George's, we now have what we believe, nobody's been able to prove us wrong, the only edible labyrinth in the whole world. So when you come in the summer and you smell the lavender, everything in there is edible, and it's good for the environment and good for humans. And then off to the side, when we expanded past the tennis courts, in there is the fruit trees and the blueberries. And so again, kind of pre-COVID, what was happening is Saturday morning in the midst of harvest is people could come, here's your basket, help yourself. So that really is what the food forest was all about. And the folks that again oh gosh, Teresa would tell me better, but probably around 15 gardeners. We'll start here soon, kind of, the 1st of May, and it will be all about setting out the gardens. What are we going to grow in each bed? Who's going to be the Monday person? Who's going to be the Wednesday person? Who's going to water? Who's going to get that compost going? So many jobs to go around.
As we are moving through COVID, there is no doubt that the cost for food and basic living supplies is going up. I can see that the food forest and the community gardens are going to have an even more important role in feeding our communities. Are you expecting more of a demand on the produce?
So we're, I know, like with Teresa, those out of all the beds that are there on the tennis courts, so 60 of them are designated to grow food for our brunch program, for the cafe, for the CMHA programs. But there's that big chunk of 30 beds that are available for the community, folks that maybe don't have access to green space where they are living. Those go so quickly, Carol, a lot for those reasons, right? Just trying to get ahead of things and have my own access to fresh fruits and vegetables. And then, hopefully, again, we'll be able to get that food forest open on Saturday mornings where we're going to see people come in and be able to access things that maybe aren't in the budget.
What are you hearing from the public who come in to the cafe? What's the feedback you're hearing?
Everybody is just so kind and so happy, and there's every day there's a greeter at the door that just kind of gives you the rundown. Who are we? What are we doing? Please use some hand sanitizer, and please put your mask up over your nose, right? That's what the greeters do, right? That's their job. And so they get to tell them a little bit about who is going to be making their food. Where does it come from? Where did this all stem from? So that was really important to Teresa, that everybody hears this isn't this about where their food's, what's happening behind the scenes. And then there's a menu and people get to choose what they like to eat, and nobody's in any big rush because there's usually 4 or 5 people kind of milling around. We're just chatting, we're having a great time, we're watching all the busyness go on in the background, and then when our food arrives, we're just so happy to have been part of something so big.
I think having someone describe where the foods come from and how this came to be, what a wonderful way of informing the community, even more than chewing on a lovely, tasty muffin. It's a wonderful community information and puts a face to people as well, which is always nice for sure. So, and are you having regulars come back? Do you have your regulars now?
It's funny, one of our first regulars, and we were just so happy, we're only a block and a bit over from the Owen Sound Fire Hall, so it was kind of alarming that every now and then we look out the front windows and there's 2 fire trucks out there, and we're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, they're just here for lunch.
How wonderful, though, to be supported that way. Wonderful, wonderful. I think that says a lot. What are you hearing from those who are now working in the cafe, and of course from Trevor, because this would be a new, well, maybe not a new experience, but a different expansion of service. What are you hearing?
And I think what's really awesome is, again, knowing that someone who started under the catering team how many years ago is now, doing so well and so incredibly more than they were before. The folks that are at the door, I think of some of the folks that are there Monday to, well, every day, and they're just so excited. They've been waiting. This is something they signed up for 3-4 years ago. And every time you walk in the door and you hear about the cafe, you're also going to hear from that individual working that they're so excited to be able to be working again. That because this was like, it's hundreds of people that have had a hand in it somehow, or been part of the planning, or and that's really great to see and hear.
Absolutely excellent. So I'm wondering, as we're moving through COVID, and this is just such a positive story. I mean, quite honestly, I appreciate hearing this positive story. It's so uplifting and inspiring. But people are struggling. Some more than others, especially at this particular point in time of the pandemic. I know we're hopeful for recovery and moving forward. There's a lot of anger and a lot of frustration out there. And I'm wondering, Jackie, if you can discuss strategies or give people advice to help them continue to move through this process.
I always go back to the wise words of Brene Brown. She's one of those inspirational voices that just has always been a message of hope through everything. And she says it all comes back to the little things in the midst of so much uncertainty and so much frustration, is finding those things you can control and just control the crap out of them. So you gotta start with the basics. What's your routine when you get up in the morning? What do you do for you? Are you making yourself some breakfast? Are you finding yourself well rested? Are you excited for your day? Because that starts everything. So just the basics of getting something to eat, making sure we're moving our bums, we're getting enough exercise, because those two together will make it easier for me to sleep. And when I'm getting good sleep, then I have the focus and the concentration that I need to be successful the next day. Limiting our news. Boy, oh boy, can we get into a CNN loop faster than anybody's business, and getting up and stepping away from that. You know, are we catching the news in the morning with Diana Mater or Claire McCormick and just getting caught up on what's going on, what buses aren't running, what the weather's going to be, and then turning it off and making sure that we're filling the rest of the day with what we need. It is truly, when you look at the cafe, being kind to each other. Nothing makes your day better than knowing you did something positive for yourself and for someone else. It was Random Act of Kindness Day yesterday, and or this week, and we, going out with Stacy Fenwick and handing out gift certificates for the cafe was so lovely. And just everybody we ran into, just this one $5 gift card that we were giving them, it just felt like we were giving them $1 million. And that helped them, it helped us. And you got to have fun. Even you look around, you think, well, what's there to have fun about? Well, you got to find it. We always need things that help us smile, regardless of what's going on. Is that our pets? Is that our loved ones? Is that music? Is it an instrument? Is it a nice muffin that Trevor made? And or one of his butter tarts, just saying. We all need those things that help us feel good. And just so that we can still see that hope at the end of the day.
And that's really good advice, because right now it can feel overwhelming with a variety of events that are occurring. And if people are less resilient, it can almost feel crushing. What would your advice be for anyone who's they just don't know how they can face a day? How can they get help?
Then the thing I want everyone to know is there is help on the other side. I always think about like fire drills. When we were kids in school, we would have fire drills, and we didn't have fire drills to to have a fire. That was never the idea. It was to what to do in case of one. So I just always want to make sure everyone knows where the helps are in their community in that moment that they need them. So 211 is your go-to. Everything that is available in our community is on 211. Our mental health crisis line is there 24/7, 365. These are people who are just going to listen. They're just going to reassure you. They're going to connect you to supports if that's the next step. Are the walk-in clinics that are all across Grey Bruce, partnership with Grey Bruce Health Services. So today, downtown, 2 doors down from City Hall, 854 2nd Avenue East, 1 to 3:30, you're going to be able to find a counseling staff from the hospital and one of our housing workers right there to support you and answer any questions. Thornbury, Wyerton, Kincardine, Southampton, Hanover, these walk-in clinics are all over the place. They're there for that reason.
So certainly you would encourage people if they're feeling, and I know you've talked about the phrase big feelings, and big feelings are important to acknowledge, but to reach out with those when you have those big tough feelings.
Big tough feelings are like farts. You gotta let them out, because if you leave them in, they're just gonna get bigger, and they're gonna come out anyways. So you might as well, find somebody safe to let them out with.
Yeah, and that's certainly important, because it's hard sometimes, and certainly we've had some challenges. So in the last couple of minutes in the program, Jackie, what would you like to say about next steps, what you see for the future, how we move through the next while?
Well, we got to do it together. Certainly, nobody's going to get through this on their own. We have to rely on each other and be willing to step into the arena and to be some of that help for someone else. This year, Mental Health Week's coming up in May. The slogan is "Don't weigh in, tune in." Just look for those places and people where you can help and make a positive difference. And the next step for the cafe, Teresa's already putting a little bug in her ear. She wants a food truck. So just saying.
Oh my goodness.
She's never done.
Amazing. Oh my goodness, that would be so amazing. We use a lot of social media these days, and social media can be very stressful for a variety of people. Any advice around the impact or what people should or shouldn't consider typing when they're typing their messaging?
You got it. Well, to be honest, it's not about the typing. It's about the following. Who are you following? Are you just listening and in? Are you following the Dodo, which is, animal rescue pages? Are you following, there's a new app called I Am, and it plops a inspirational message on your cell phone every hour, if that's what you need it to be. So yeah. I couldn't say it better than what you said. It is follow, don't type, just follow.
Yeah. And I've just written down the name of that app because that appeals to me. I would like to, that's an app for me, that's for sure. Jackie, I want to thank you so much for appearing on the program and giving us those good words and good news as you move forward. I wish you and all of those involved in Fresh Roots and also the Food Forest all of the best in the future. And thank you for the services that you provide to our community. Thank you to our viewing audience for joining us today. Please join us again to learn more about programs, resources, and services that are available to you and to your family. Take care and stay safe. Thank you.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.